Hello everyone and welcome to the good, the bad and the what the fucks. Possibly the final ever one. This has been a little process. I think, or maybe it was the last year when I used to have trays of films. I would like start piling films up of actors and going, right, you know, and I know there was Scott Atkins there, Nicolas Cage, Stallone as well. And over the years it started with the two Coreys, like Corey Haim and Corey Feldman movies, Christian Slater, Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes, and it's good just to put 10 films together. That was its original origins, and you would watch them and you go, right, okay, for example, Wesley Snipes, Rising Sun, an amazing movie. But then Wesley Snipes has done some questionable films like Armed Response, White Men Can't Jump, you either love it or you hate it, and then you got Money Train, and you love it or you hate it. And you get to, like, you watch these films, especially if, like, you like the actor, and, like, you look at it and you go, what the fuck? Oh, that was really bad. Oh, that was a hidden gem. So, this is what this series' origins were. Now, I think this will be the last ever good, the bad, and what the fucks. I mean, you could venture off and go, right, creature feature films or whatever. But for now, I'm just happy that I've managed to clear the shelves in the rooms, because there was free shelves full of movies. And recently we had the Scott Atkins one, which, if you check out the Scott Atkins one, it had additional content of the tournament at the end, which was pretty cool. And then before that, it was Nicolas Cage and stuff like that. But this is the final ever one for Sylvester Stallone. Now, I've seen Expendables 4 recently, and, you know, it was going to be a Christmas story. I honestly think they dropped the absolute ball with Expendables 4. I think Expendables 3, it was given a bit of a harder edge. Expendables 4 just seems to be like these roles for Wesley Snipes and Antonio Banderas, who haven't come back. Andy Garcia being the bad guy, nah. I mean, Desperate Measures off the top of my head is a good Andy Garcia film, but Andy Garcia, not a credible threat. Nicolas Cage would have been the perfect fucking person to do this. And I also think, like, if they were really going to try with Expendables 4, Robert Rodriguez should have directed it. They should have went, there you go, and they could have just really went for it. Yeah, it fell flat. Stallone's in it, not in it. There's new cast, there's old cast, there's bringing Expendables back. They could have just went so extreme, but they haven't. And, you know, I actually haven't bought it. I cheeky enough watched it in the team room at work. I actually watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 as well, which Stallone pops up in as well. So, you know, he's been quite constant in films at the moment. He's out and about. Samaritan, which I've not seen, is on Amazon Prime as well. And he's been acting loads lately, and there's rumours of a Cliffhanger 2, Demolition Man 2, the fucking Bob's your uncle. But what have I been watching? So, this originally sparked off when me and Matt Ferry were playing Matt was playing, I wasn't, in North Shields at the library, and we went through the Tyne Tunnel, and every time I go through the Tyne Tunnel, I talk about Daylight. And I came home that night and I watched it, and I think Daylight's a great film. It was meant to be Cliffhanger 2, it's some origin story. It's held up quite well in the era of disaster movies. Stallone, amazing artwork, because I mean, that again is amazing artwork, and that is a really good film that I think should be on Arrow. It falls under that realm. It's Universal Studios, it's TriStar, Columbia Pictures. It could appear on Arrow. It needs a restoration on Blu-ray. It has been out on Blu-ray, but it could come out with a better one. Then I ended up watching 2 batches of free films, and then we'll get to where we are today. So, I watched this, Lords of the Flatbush. I can't even fucking tell you what this film was about. Oh, Henry Winkler and Sylvester Stallone. This is a very early on movie. It's not aged well. It looked like crap. It's on 101 Films. I can't even tell you what the story is about. It was like gangs, and then there was a wedding, and it was really bad. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about this. So I've got 2 versions of this, actually. It's on VHS somewhere as well behind us. So, Avenging Angeline, though. So, this was on a big box VHS back in the day. It looks like it's Assassins. Madeline Stone from 12 Monkeys. Her life is his job. Now the mafia wants him dead. It looks like an action movie. It looks like a thriller. It's a comedy. And it's just so bad. It's so offbeat. I couldn't wait for it to end, and it's not very long either. It's only on 94 minutes. It felt long on that. It just felt so fucking flat. And I believe I bought a load of films at a boot sale, and this guy I bought them off was living in Holland. And I think he was doing like a 10 for £1 or something. I was just like, for fuck's sake. But for years, for having that on VHS, it is around. It'll be somewhere. It's definitely in this room. Fell flat. I'll never ever watch that again. And another film I'm never watching again. I didn't watch it for this review. I vowed never to watch it again. I picked it up really cheap. Backtrace. This is one of his newer films. Do not watch this. This is absolutely horseshit. It was really, really bad. Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. So you know what I mean? He has been paying the checks, and I think when we talk about paying the checks here as well, Escape Plan 3, obviously the film did back to back with Escape Plan 2. I talked about Escape Plan 2 years ago, and it was this long to get around to watching the third one. And I've had this for a while, mind. And obviously they've put them together. Escape Plan was a great film with Stallone, and again, why was Dave Bautista not really considered for Expendables 4? I know he's a megastar now, but obviously there is some connection here to Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. Wow. You know, again, does he need the money? And again, he's a really good director and a really good writer, and, you know, questionable in his roles of acting and what he's preferred to, but like, there's them films there where there's this weird offbeat, I mean, early beginnings of big action movies, right? But then you've got the two cash-ins, like Backtrace and Escape Plan 3 are very close to production together. But yeah. And then, just before Rocky 3, we had a Victory, which is called Escape to Victory over here. This is, again, I've felt, personally, this is so overrated. I'm not a massive football fan at all. And a lot of people always ask for this, Pele and all this. It was more like really weird. And obviously Michael Caine as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute with Michael Caine. But again, football match. It's not the longest yard kind of thing. Not Mean Machine. You know, it is what it is, and it was what it was. But to me personally, it didn't float the boat. It is available on Blu-ray, but I wouldn't put it in the good category. I don't think it's a what the fuck movie. I think Stallone's randomly in it. And while we're talking about that, we're going to talk about like what the fuck when Stallone comes back to Get Carter. Now, Get Carter, Michael Caine returns as well as an alternative character to his original iconic role. There's quite a few people in this. I remember doing this, and there's a few people like Frank Stallone would pop up in this. I watched Hudson Hawk when I was watching all these films as well, so Frank Stallone was popping up in quite a few of these films, and you see certain actors in there. And obviously Michael Caine and Stallone are in this together. Really coming off the back end of like what was happening at the time in Britain with Guy Ritchie, and how there was this kind of swagger, and when it translated into America, it was only edit. There's really good random shots. It's a weird one. I honestly think if this was stripped back a bit from the try to have that English impulse of like the edit, I think this would have been a better film. It's a little bit messy in places. They wanted to try it, but this one has literally just completely disappeared into the void. If you said Get Carter to a lot of people now, they'll still say Michael Caine, and you could probably curveball them with like, oh, Stallone was in it with Michael Caine, the remake, and you would probably freak people out, because this, I mean, came along the era of late VHS into DVD, and then boom, it's like that. There's a weird stain on my cabinet up there. Don't even know. I'm gonna have to investigate what that is. I'm sorry, I've just offbeat it up there. Right, anyway, next one, you talk about him appearing. This had so many random people appearing in it. The guy who gets top billing, you think, why has he got top billing? Sylvester Stallone, you got Kevin McConnelly, Thomas Jane, Tom Berenger, Sylvester Stallone, Lauren Coral, Kelsey Grammer. There's loads of other people you might recognise in this. Danny Trejo's in there. It's all about scamming people. Stallone's an agent. It wasn't too bad, but I can't fucking remember the story of it. There's no stopping someone who was not stopped. I can't remember what happened to it. I'm going to say it's a bad film. I only watched it 2 or 3 days ago. Back to the guy from Holland. I bought loads of DVDs off. He's a one for you. Shade. Stuart Townsend, The Way It Should Be billed. Gabriel Byrne, Theo Newman, and Sylvester Stallone. Again, you talk about card tricks. When it got released in England, Jamie Foxx is top billed. Sylvester Stallone, Stuart Townsend gets his name there. Melanie Griffin's at it. Again, I think Stallone might have loved Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch, because this just tries to be a bit Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, card games, dealing. You know, they can see, if you go cross-eyed, you can see what the cards are. Stuart Townsend fallen from grace at this point. It's been on there. It twists. It kind of want it turns. The production quality as well is not very good on the DVD. It's very slimmed. It's very pixelated, so it's not even like a very high resolution DVD release. But again, you hire Stallone. He comes in. He gets his paycheck. Does he need a paycheck? Is it a favour? I know he was in a film called Gold that's never been released. When Frank Stallone starring role, and when they tried to sell the movie, they put Sylvester Stallone top billing, and he's like the and cameo. So that was like the era where, you know, you could hire him and stuff like that. But again, he kind of wanted to act, and again, someone who's known for iconic as Rocky or Rambo. And then he's tried to get new franchises going. I think what people don't give enough credit for, and even though this has not aged well, which is Spy Kids 3, and this is like the Expendables of kids films. So many people in it, especially related to Robert Rodriguez. Stallone's wanting to try in this. He shows his comedic side. He's showing multiple characters. He's goofy. He's stupid. He's throwing his voice around. And he generally, again, has a lot of fun with this, but this is just a bit weird, not aged well. You can see it meant well for when it was done, and what Rodriguez has tried to do. A digital file by Robert Rodriguez, and like Machete turns up as Machete. But yeah, you think at this point, you think, what the fuck? Now, about all the films I've watched recently, I've got one left here. One that personally caught me off guard was Staying Alive. Written and directed by Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone appears at the start, bumps into him at the street when he's walking, and Stallone's like walking. For someone who was doing Rocky and all this kind of stuff, you can see his direction skills are great. It's a Broadway show, it's a musical, directing John Travolta, which I'm surprised never worked together again. And again, I generally enjoyed this. It's been a long time since I've seen Saturday Night Fever. This is the sequel. Obviously it went right under the radar at the times, but again, it captures the moments, the films, the autography. So yeah, a tremendous actor, a brilliant writer, I think a great director as well. But my God, has he made some what the fucks and made some films where you think, really? What the fuck did you even think about that? Or have you even watched it? And recently I met Zach Gallion, and I was like, oh yeah, check this film, I've never seen it. I'm like, alright. And it awkward there. I'm like, I was wanting you to sign it. You never watched it, but that's what happens, you know. A job's a job to some people, and when you're a high kind of actor, again, look at Robert De Niro, look at Michael Caine. There's a perfect example. Michael Caine gets ripped on about Jaws of Revenge all the time, and he goes, I've never seen it, but have you seen my house? So yeah, thanks for watching the good, the bad, and the what the fucks. The outtake's going to be what that stain is. What the fuck was that? But yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.